course, let me introduce you our amazing customer, Mary Greening, the Director of Community Programs at WalkMe. Mary, would you like to say a few words about yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Oha. Thank you for having me. Like Oha said, I am Mary Greening, and I'm the Director of Community Programs at WalkMe, a digital adoption software company. I've been working with online communities since about 2001 and implementing ideation for about 16 years. The last 7 years have been exclusively on Salesforce, and I'm excited to be here today to talk to you about it.
Wow, and can you remind me how long the Ultimate Ideas implementation has been running at WalkMe particularly?
Sure, we went live in March of 2023, so just over a year.
And how do you feel the implementation went?
It was great. The AC Communities team was worked with us step by step. We met on a very regular basis. They helped us project manage it. It was very easy to implement. Our Salesforce team didn't have any trouble at all. It was easy to configure. AC Communities supported us all along the way. If we had any questions, they were very responsive, and it was probably one of the easiest parts of our entire community program implementation.
Oh, that's like this is the feedback that one always wants to hear. So I'll just turn to our team and listen to this webinar. Uh, so thank you. Yeah. And how's it going now? Like, what's your experience right now?
Things are going great. I just checked this morning and we have 998 ideas. We've got over 6,400 votes, and the community customers love it. They are promoting their own ideas during webinars, on the forum. Every time there's a question that's related to an idea, someone mentions it. So there's a lot of crowdsourcing going on and cross promotion of ideas.
And actually, the next question would be from me. Like, weren't you afraid of implementing the solution? You were saying that there are more than 900 ideas in the span of a bit more than a year.
Right.
I know there can be a lot of anxiety once you're making the product development process like more transparent to customers.
Right. So this is the hardest part about implementing ideation, is getting the product team on board. There's a lot of anxiety for multiple reasons. One of the biggest pushback reasons is we don't want to spend our time statusing the ideas. And that's going to take time. What about all the emails? They were afraid they were going to get a lot of emails. They didn't understand that there was a threshold on votes that would trigger an email. And one of the biggest one of the biggest fears of the product team is, well, I don't want to say no. I don't want to tell our customers no, but it is important to tell your customer no so that they can pivot and do what they need to do with their own processes. So it's definitely not a bad thing to say, I'm not going to deliver that idea.
Oh, and well, how do you get your community members to submit ideas and votes? It seems like it's very active.
Yeah, so our support team doesn't open feature requests. Like a lot of times the support team has the overhead of having to open up a feature request when the feature doesn't exist. Instead, we ask our support team to push our customers to the community instead and let them initiate the idea. This kind of reduces the actual number of ideas, because the customers, if they're really invested, they'll open it instead of having someone else do it for them. They're more likely to follow it. They're more likely to be more invested in the product if they're opening them on their own. So the support process does add to that. And of course, our community is very active and very vocal. And so again, the crowdsourcing, the promoting across the community helps create enthusiasm for it. And also the feedback that they get in statusing the ideas as well. They can see where their ideas stand at any time.
Yeah, it almost like they felt heard, as I
Yes.
would put it.
Yes.
And when it
Know what
comes
it is.
to handling ideas, like what's the process that you're following? Because you touched upon it just for a bit. Because I guess
Sure.
our audience would love to hear more.
Yep. So the way we have it set up is when an idea is initiated in the platform, it is fed through Slack to a dedicated Slack channel. We have a very technical team. Some of our most technical people at WalkMe look at those ideas as they come in. They make sure that there's no duplicates. If they happen to know what the status of that idea is, for example, is it already an existing idea? They'll update it immediately. Where if it's already an existing feature, they'll update it automatically and point the customer to that feature where it already exists. And they'll pretty much triage those ideas so that all of that front end work is done ahead of the product team seeing them. And that's really, really helpful. It's the first time I've ever had a process like this, and I think it is a game changer, having a triage team ahead of the product team before they see it. And then, of course, the
looks
product
like
team.
it took some lift off the shoulders of the product team.
Yes, yes, they love that.
Oh, I bet they do. And do you let your customers know how you are doing with the process? Like,
Sure.
do they see that? Do they have that transparency?
Yes, they do. And we, as an added part of this, we also do a biannual article that talks about how many ideas we have so that they know that their idea isn't the only one. We tell them how many votes we have, the metrics. And then what we do is we highlight all the delivered ideas for that half of the year, and feature the people who open the idea and provide direct links to those ideas. We talk about any new features that we've added to the ideation process, or anything that we want our customers to know about innovating with us. So we add that to the article as well.
Wow. Thank you, Mary. And probably the last thing I would ask you to do is, whilst we're on the webinar, is there any piece of advice that you would like to give to our audience? Because having your experience, this is a shame not to share it.
Sure. So the biggest piece of advice is get executive buy-in, and that means your senior vice president of product management should fully support the ideation efforts. This includes making ideation part of the product team goals and performance metrics. This helps, drive success from the product side of it. Also, once you have executive sponsorship, reach out to the team at AC Communities and buy their AC Ideas Ultimate platform. Years ago, I had to build a homegrown ideation application on Salesforce, and it was not fun. It was very hard, lots of work, and very limited. The AC Communities package has everything I ever wanted in ideation, and you'll save a lot of time and frustration by buying their well-made and tested application that integrates beautifully with Salesforce, and there's so much you can do with it after you've integrated into your community and your CRM. When launching ideas, make sure that you seed the platform with about 10 popular feature requests that have already been identified by the customer and product teams. Make sure they're in various states of status, like planned and under review. And this will give your users ideas to vote on immediately. And it will also just demonstrate the structure of a good idea. We had some of our MVPs create ideas at Go Live. We also got permission to impersonate others to submit some, and used a fake account to submit the rest. That was really important on getting excitement once we went live. And of course, leverage the user community and support portal to promote your ideas tool.
Wow, that's a lot. And Mary, thank you so much for taking the time and for sharing your experience with us.